Hi everybody, welcome to our home today. Today I am going to start making over our little girls' room. Our girls are 5 and 8, and I've been putting this project off for quite a while, but this room is in desperate need of a makeover. I will be showing you how I am doing it on a very small budget. I've only purchased a few things new, some things we thrifted, and other things we're reusing. So we're going to be going through this room. Most of the things you see in this room probably won't be coming back in. So let's get started and see how this turns out. And here's the bedroom in its before state. The room is going to be made over from top to bottom. There's the rocking chair there from when I was rocking my little babies. We definitely don't need that anymore. So that'll be going out for sure. The ceiling fan needs to be changed out. It only has the one speed. The door here that's for the attic needs trim. And at some point, my girls pulled the curtain rod out of the wall. And so it's just been hanging there with a tension rod. There used to be blinds there, and those broke a really long time ago, so those need to be replaced. Here we started taking the beds apart to get that out. The bunk beds were used in a different room. They used to share a much smaller room across the hall, so we still had to worry about the ceiling height. And then also we had Delaney in the bottom bunk, which is right off the floor. We never transitioned her to a toddler bed from her crib. So that was used instead of a toddler bed, and it worked out really well for us. Now that they're in this room though, they have plenty of room to have their own bed separated. So instead of the bunk beds, now we're gonna move in 2 separate twin beds. As we were moving furniture out, I was amazed at how much stuff was underneath it. All of the garbage, all of the toys that were missing, it was a lot. Once we got all the furniture out, the last thing that needed to go was the rug. We rolled that up, got that out of there. Once that was out, all that was left was the curtains, and we got those done and out, and we were ready to go. All right, so we have the room prepped and ready for painting. Here is the color that I chose for this room. It has a tan base with a little bit of pink in it, so I think it'll look good in here. My favorite part of transforming a room is always the paint. Fresh coat of paint is always great in a room. Their room is north facing, and they only have those 2 little windows, so I really wanted to go with something a little bit lighter and brighter than the gray that was there. It doesn't really pick up well on camera, but the gray was actually quite dark and really made the room feel dreary. So the whole point of this makeover was to obviously fix the problems that we had, but also to just lighten it up and brighten it and make it just a really comfortable space for them. Once I was done painting and the paint had dried, the next thing we did was install a new ceiling fan. I had said before that the ceiling fan that we had in there didn't work very well. There was only one speed that was currently working, so we really needed to replace it. So we decided to replace it with this white one to really brighten things up in the room also. And the other one hugged the ceiling, and with the angles there, it didn't really move air around very well. So we went with one that hung a little bit lower, and now it pushes the air around really well and it works like it should. So we're really glad that we took the time to do that. One major thing that needed to be done was the trim around the little attic access door that we have in this room. There was old trim on there and we had to take it off for some reason quite a while ago, and for some reason just never replaced it. So we got that done. Once he got that nailed on, then I filled in the holes and got that painted. Then after that, we moved to these shades. We decided to go with a cellular shade that's also blackout. And they fit right inside the window. They were really easy to put up. It was really quick and it made a huge difference in here. It helps my girls now sleep better at night than just the flimsy curtains that were up. And we really like how those work. The next thing that needed to be done was taking care of the floors. Here you can see Emery and I are painting them. These floors are in rough shape. There was no way we could have refinished them. These are original to the house, which was built in 1940, and are cracking, and there's pieces that are missing. So short of ripping them out, which would have been too expensive at this point, and replacing with something new, we just decided to paint right over them. The white paint really brightens up the room. This is just a standard porch and floor paint, so it should hold up really well. So far it is. The only thing that I would change is I probably would have put a primer coat down first. Even though this is a paint and primer in one, I think it just would have made things a little easier. As it was, we did have to put 2 coats on and probably could have touched up a third time, but I decided to let that go. We had to let it dry for about a week to cure, and once that happened, then we were ready to move stuff in. So we used the same rug that was in before. It's a little bit darker, but it really grounds the room. So I didn't want to replace that. Next, we started moving in the new beds. We had gotten the beds at a thrift store, and they are 2 different beds, but we took some time before this room was being made over to paint them both white, and we made them look similar in that way. Here I'm moving in the nightstand that is left over from their older sister's room. It's not in the best shape, but it does the job for them right now, that they have something between their beds to put things on at night, such as books or Delaney's glasses, that sort of thing, that things just don't get thrown around. Alright, now this second bed is being moved in, and now that they're side by side, you can see what I mean about them being a little bit different from each other, but now they look similar because they were painted the same. Once the bed frames were in, we could start moving the rest of the big furniture in. Michaela helped me out with that while Glenn was actually working on the bed frames themselves, because they were thrifted. They were actually pretty old and needed a few extra brackets to hold the mattresses up. This cute little lamp I found, my parents were actually holding on to. This was mine when I was little, so I put a new shade on it and had to get a rewiring kit because the wires in it were pretty old. So it is now for them. It matches their room pretty well. Next, we hung the curtains. These came from the thrift store, and we reused the curtain hardware that we originally had, got those hung back up and secured, and hopefully now those will not be pulled out of the wall. We put tie backs up on these curtains to hold the curtains back and up and out of the way, and now that there are shades, hopefully the girls will never touch these curtains again. Next, we moved on to rehanging the shelf. It used to be to the right of the windows in the corner. We moved that to the center of the windows to hold their special things. We put a picture above it. It's hard to tell, but those are 4 postcards that I had of Tinkerbell that I put into a frame, also very inexpensive. Across the room, we rehung a Pooh poster, but just changed out the one that was there. The one that used to be there was full of blues, and I wanted it to change to the greens and the pinks. Hung up more pictures around the room. Here's a picture that Ellie had made that is now hanging above her bed. Next, we went to Delaney's side of the room, and above her bed is a little cross stitch that I had made years and years ago that looks really sweet in that corner above her bed. Next, I moved back to the shelf and put their special things up there, things that they can break that I don't want to have at their level. Just a few things that they have gotten as gifts over the years. And as a reminder, here's what the room looked like before. You can see it was a total mess, lots of things wrong with it, and was very crowded, especially in the corner there behind the rocking chair. We moved out the extra furniture, and here's what it looks like now. It's nice and bright and simple, and the girls absolutely love it. Okay, so now that the room is done, I bet you're wondering how much I actually ended up spending on this room. And I bet it's not as much as you think that it is. So to break it down, the fan was on sale for $85 when we bought it. The paint I had to buy a gallon for the walls and a gallon for the floor. And total that was around $50 for the paint when it was on sale. No surprise, I also got the shades on sale, and they were approximately $25 a piece. Now, the things that we thrifted were the pair of curtains, which I snagged from our local thrift store for less than $7 total. We reused the hardware that we had previously hung in this room. And also the beds. The beds total cost me $40. And remember, I painted those to look similar. I didn't want identical pieces in this room. I didn't need identical pieces in this room. So just by painting them the same color, it's very cohesive in here. One other thing that I did need to purchase was to reuse the lamp on the nightstand. I did have to purchase a rewiring kit, and that only cost me $13. So total, this room costs about $250 for a top to bottom makeover, completely different. My girls are loving it. They got this room a couple of weeks ago and have been living in it, loving it, and have been keeping it clean, maintaining it, making their beds in the morning. This was the best move for us to do, was to give them something that they loved, that they could maintain themselves, and just live in it and care for it and respect the space that they have for themselves. So I hope that you enjoyed having this room made over with us, and I hope you liked this video. If you did, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.